What is this? What is this known prior to 1980? In 80 as Anthym was an American rock band that originated in Fairfax High School in California. Formed by guitarist Hillel Slovak, drummer Jack Irons, vocalist Alain Johannes, and bassist Todd Strassman, the band served as the nucleus for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Members of the band would go on to perform with Chris Cornell, Pearl Jam, Lanegan, them Crooked Vultures, Alain Johannes Trio, and Queens of the Stone Age. History. Originally named Chain Reaction, the band would later change its name to Anthym, then later to Anthym as there was already a band using the former moniker, and then finally to What Is This, which was a tongue-in-cheek reference to the reaction they usually received from first-time listeners. During their tenure as Anthym, guitarist Hillel Slovak became acquainted with an audience member at one of their shows, Anthony Kiedis, who was then brought on as a roadie and hype man for the band. After a while, the band began to find bassist Todd Strassman's musical abilities unsatisfactory, so they considered replacing him. Slovak decided to teach a friend of his at Fairfax, trumpet player Michael Flea Baltzary, how to play bass. Soon he replaced Strassman as What Is This bassist. After graduating high school, the band began to play gigs in the Los Angeles area. Flea eventually left the band to play in the punk band Fear and was replaced by Chris Hutchinson. Around this time, Slovak and Jack Irons decided to play a show with Anthony Kiedis and Flea under the name Tony Flo and the Majestic Masters of Mayhem at the Rhythm Lounge. It consisted of the musicians improvising a punk-funk jam, like Defunct or James Chance and the Contortions, while Kiedis rapped a poem he wrote titled Out in L.A. It was intended to be a one-time performance, but the show was received so well that they were asked to return again the following week. The group decided to change their name to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, played several more shows at various Los Angeles clubs and musical venues, and eventually recorded a demo tape, all while Slovak and Irons were still playing with What Is This. A few months later, What Is This received a record deal with MCA Records, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers received a joint deal with EMI America and Enigma Records. Hillel Slovak and Jack Irons decided to leave the Red Hot Chili Peppers and stay with What Is This, as the latter was their primary musical project while the former was seen as side endeavor. What Is This released their debut EP Squeezed in 1984. Around this time, Hillel Slovak had become uncertain of his role in the band and decided to rejoin the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He left What Is This in 1985, and later that year the band would release its only full-length studio album What Is This, and its final EP 3 out of 5 live. After this, the band broke up. Alain Johannes later met Natasha Asachnader, and the duo formed Walk the Moon, whose sole studio album featured Jack Irons and Chris Hutchinson on several tracks. Jack Irons later rejoined the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 1987, but would then leave the next year due to Hillel Slovak's death by a heroin overdose. Alain Johannes, Natasha Asachnader, and Jack Irons later formed the band 11. Jack Irons would later leave 11 midway through the recording of their third album to join Pearl Jam, with whom he recorded 2 albums, only to later rejoin 11 in time for their 5th album. 11 disbanded after the death of Natasha Asachnader. Both Johannes and Irons are now a part of Spinneret. What Is This's song Mind My Have Still I from Squeezed was also featured on the soundtrack to the movie The Wildlife. Their second album, which featured a cover of the Spinners' hit I'll Be Around, was produced by Todd Rundgren, who also played Fairlight synthesizer on the record. I'll Be Around was released as a single and video. It peaked at number 62 on the Billboard Hot 100. Members. Original lineup: Alain Johannes lead vocals, guitars, Hillel Slovak guitar backing vocals, Todd Strassman bass, Alain bass. Jack Irons, drums later members. Flea, bass, backing vocals replaced Todd Strassman. Chris Hutchinson, bass, backing vocals replaced Flea. Michael Bachredes, keyboards, 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 keyboards. Partial discography.